fashion. And what way to kick it off with the two people here right in front of us. Vixen with the Sheik going up against Delta, the Mario.
And you and I are both Mario players, aren't we?
Yeah. We are the Mario Bros.
Yeah, we are the Mario Bros. I thought it was Breaking Bob. Could be both. I like them both equally.
We got a lot of things to discuss about our actual duo tag.
We do, actually, yeah. That's a discussion for another time,
yeah, but let's talk about the discussion right now. The quick 64 that came out from Delta, putting on a good percentage. And, you know, the base of this matchup, it's pretty even for the most part, but then you look at two things. Mario can combo and kill pretty easily, and Sheik has to do a little bit of work. So on the end of kill factor, I'm got to give the edge to Mario.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when it comes to kill power, I definitely expected that to be a down air for sure, potentially a cross-up one to kill Sheik off the top. Very, very, very light character. As far as this matchup goes, it's definitely... It can be one of, like, I don't want to say it's one of, like, the harder ones, but it's definitely one where the Mario kind of has to know what they're doing a little bit more. Because I think if either of, like, these opponents win this matchup, I want to say it's Mario, but I actually think it's more so dead even. Because if the Mario doesn't know how to completely play properly at the mid-range against Sheik, this is the kind of character who's, like, frame data and combo game can absolutely run Mario over if the Mario just matches willy-nilly. But that back air will take the stock.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, and one thing to keep in mind as well, I mean, Mario Mario main loves to abuse that frame data. Against Sheik, you can't really do that too much because she just has a lot of safe options, a lot of lingering options as well in the air as well to stuff out a lot of what Mario wants to do. But for the most part, I mean, Delta's been playing a pretty spacious game, you know, taking his time, not really getting too aggressive, and just finding those opportunities to strike at Vixen whenever they can. And the setup was right there for Vixen to take the stock, but the awareness from Delta is just plain unstoppable right now.
Honestly, yeah. Percentage just a little too high for the forward air. It is actually going to be able to get it that time. Beautiful DI in, and unfortunately, Delta is not able to get the proper spacing that time around, but it is definitely looking like his game to lose right now. Is Vixen struggling to make it back, trying to go for the ledge jump, and the hard read. My goodness, this is where if the Mario knows how to hold their ground, it can get a little bit difficult for Sheik, because we see the Mario still hanging on to the stock clean and pretty right now. Well overlapped in stock and percent by almost about 30% differential between these two. Where Sheik struggles to kill, this is where it can get pretty hard, Gabe.
Yeah, Vixen doing a pretty good job just trying to find those openings, but Delta, he stands menacingly and just decides to swing when the opportunity arises. And once again, you know, I love the playstyle that Delta has when it comes to Mario. He's very passive, but he knows when to go in and get aggressive. And he's really just showcasing that right now against Vixen. Vixen just trying to get that stock, you know, put themselves on the board. For the most part, I really do like the improvement that Vixen has had within the last couple of months. She has really been putting in work, and these setups right now, finally going to put herself on the board. Good way to do so. I mean, even if you don't take this game one, good thing to do is build up some momentum, start catching on to some of your opponent's habits, and it seems like Vixen is starting to catch on to some things.
That's frame 3 up B though, my friend. Very big, intangible hitbox. You better time that back air properly if you're going to be able to do it. That's a platform landing. Get the cross up. Okay. Oh, just narrowly able to survive that DI. Delta actually didn't cross that up perfectly. He started on pretty much the same side and ended on it to try to mix up that DI, and Vixen was more than prepared for it this time around. Now I want to say it's too little too late so far. Actually reflecting the needles to secure his way back to the stage is Delta right now. Vixen hanging on for dear life. Definitely is going to need a miracle to bring this. Not reacting to the jab lock, unfortunately. Maybe the percent was a little too high.
Yeah, sometimes you can't really trust yourself in getting those jab locks. Vixen understood that. She did a really good job, you know, calculating and just trying to go for something else. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get much else off of it. But Sheik now at 150% max rage. And, just snapping onto ledge barely. But the tri-stay roll in into the back throw. A classic and a good performance from both those players nonetheless. But Delta, the way that he started off, you know, just really set the pace for that game one.
Absolutely, and I actually love the way he ended that game as well, because a lot of Marios in that exact same position, when they're holding their back against the ledge and holding shield against it, they think this covers two things. Okay, I want to up smash here, and this will cover two things right now. If she does neutral get up, or if she does get up attack, I up smash, she dies, right? He didn't go for that because he understood the logistics of Sheik's get-up attack, knowing that it was actually going to cross him up to the other side, and instead reacted instead of just whipping out an up smash like some people would have, and went for the grab instead to get the back throw that time around. That was actually really good situational awareness on the part of Delta, because so many other Marios would have just let it rip right there.
For sure. I mean, Vixen, I think she was catching on to some things that Delta started to do towards the end of that game. You know, you saw a little bit more edge guarding, the usage of her side B grenade, and you know, it just seemed like Delta, he just knew when to get in. When the time was right, he just went in and he did everything accordingly. And now we're going to get a change of scenery. No longer in the PS2 field. We are in small battlefield instead. So same layout, but definitely on the smaller end of the spectrum.
For sure. No top platform to worry about getting roofed this time around. Sheik is rather light, but it's going to take some really, really good Mario combos and good awareness of percent to be able to roof her on this stage. And I think she's aware of that. She's going to be able to play the mid-range a little bit better on a stage like this for sure, as well as get some pretty good needle setups by the platform. I feel like she can ledge trap Mario very well on a stage like this based on like the length and size of those platforms. You know, you can get a lot of like B reverse and wave bounce needles. Whoa! I'm going to be the one to say it. Should not have killed.
Yeah, that was very questionable DI coming out on the end of Vixen, but you can't really predict those things. That was just a huge overextension coming out from Delta, and it paid off for him. So good stuff to Delta right there, you know, just risking it all, and it actually gave him the stock. So,
yeah.
I mean, good stuff to him, yeah.
Yeah, Sheik is rather light, but you do got to watch how you DI against Mario's up B. You want to DI down and away from the direction he's facing just about every single time to optimize that survival DI. And Vixen just kind of popped up right there, which lets me think that maybe she wasn't DIing the all, or maybe she was holding in. I'm not completely sure, but either way, that was then, this is now. Don't run into that.
Yeah,
good job. She heard me.
She definitely got comfortable in at least touching the stage, but that's going to be the first stock. Either way, had the stock right there as well. The needle setups are immaculate, but so is that bouncing fish. Nair into the bouncing fish setup as well. Finally going to put herself on the board. Vixen can definitely bring this back. Sheik may struggle to kill, but one thing about her that makes her such a really unique and great character is just that combo game of hers, despite, you know, the lack of damage to show for it.
And I gotta say, Vixen is definitely doing a better job playing around the Mario matchup, because Mario, you know, like, he's so. Both of these characters are so used to outframe dating their opponents, right? Neither of them can exactly do that to each other is the thing, because, like, you know, they're both sort of known for that. Mario gets more damage off of his and can definitely beats out Sheik in the kill power department, but Sheik has definitely got like a little bit more, slightly more of the mobility factor on par as well for sure. So it's really interesting to see the way that Vixen is playing around it, because like you can't exactly just combo Mario willy-nilly because of the frame 3 Nair. So you just have to like wait and not always go for the true stuff, and Mario kind of has to do the same.
Oh yeah, for sure. And right now, Vixen showing a lot of survivability on the end of Sheik. Trying to force the roll option right there is Delta, but makes it come back with the back air instead. And only 69% with 2 stocks to work with. Vixen can definitely bring this back. She just has to be very careful about the way that she starts trying to get back on her feet, because it seems like Delta is just covering almost every single option right there. Good coverage right there from Vixen. Gonna put herself in an on-stage and situation. Could be good.
You gotta watch her spacing as Sheik so much in this matchup. Like I was saying before, is the grenade's gonna take the stock.
Nice.
You really can't just combo Mario willy-nilly until you're both at that sort of like mid to higher range percent, to the point where Nair is gonna be stubby enough to the point where he's not gonna be able to hit you, right? At the lower percent, Delta, you see it right there. Delta is getting so much off of these combo breaker back airs. It's like Vixen is just like spacing the same way I feel like she would in like so many other matchups, but Mario is just kind of, he's just a jerk. He doesn't play the game by those same rules, you know what I mean? Almost all of his aerials combo break. You know what I mean? And if you don't watch your spacing against this character, you are gonna have a bad time against Mario.
Oh yeah, for sure. But Vixen doing a really good job just slowing down the pacing now. Like, okay, I gotta really work for this damage and then potentially take the stock if I want to bring this to a game 3 scenario. But the quick adaptation and awareness, not gonna be enough to take the stock yet, but still a very comfortable position. We've seen this already, and almost getting the call out up smash as well.
Yeah, and I love the way that Delta is like playing by the ledge traps as well. Like he's actually holding shield by the ledge to try to bait Vixen into doing the 2 options that would actually beat out, and then he just runs to roll distance and then starts to charge the up smash.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work, then he back airs. It's like he's just positive all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
And I'm really loving these, you know, DI checks mix-ups from Delta. You know, you're expecting some options just like that Flood to be an option. Good catch. Oh, but one thing to keep in mind, we are in best of 5 territory. Woo! So if you can't adapt after 2 games, hey, good news, you got 1 more to deal with. So Vixen on the verge of maybe a reverse 3-0? I don't know.
Potentially, my friend, potentially.
That was definitely a lot closer of a game, too.
No, yeah, it was. I think the stage counter pick really helped. I think the platform's layout for not only more survivability for Sheik compared to the last stage we were on, I think it also just you know, as far as like the needles and like the B reverses and stuff like that, that's stuff that is still super duper safe against Mario, because if there's one thing that Mario is, it's stubby. And
Yeah.
Sheik has a projectile that is pretty hard to contest, not exactly easy to reflect for the most part, because it's a continuing projectile. So if Sheik decides to just camp with needles, Mario can't exactly just reflect those back, because then he'll get hit by the rest of the needles that come by afterwards. So that's one really good tool against Mario, especially by the ledge as far as ledge trapping goes. I definitely want to see more of that from Vixen going into game number 3 right here. But if Delta continues to hold his ground in the way that he's been doing, I think this is definitely going to be a 3-0 and a handshake. But that's all going to depend on what stage we are venturing off to next.
I saw small battlefield.
Still small battlefield. Okay.
Yeah, definitely the right stage pick. It definitely was paying dividends to Vixen despite the losing effort. But she started catching on to some things. And she started playing the game at her pacing, not having to get too aggressive, just like we're seeing right now. But, you know, if you're hanging on for the ledge too long, eventually that invincibility will run out. So that was good awareness and good coverage from Vixen's end. Yeah. I can't explain some of these things. It's just one hit per person.
See what I was talking about from the last game? You know, they're the same thing. Mario, they're not the same character, obviously. They are very, very different, but like they do very similar things and just outframe dataing usually whoever their opponents are, right?
Yeah.
But these characters can't do that to each other, so they just combo broke each other with their nairs literally 3 times in a row in like the same interaction. You love to see it, honestly, but yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Mario plays from the mid-range really, really well against Sheik. If he tries to just bum rush in and be really, really impatient, play the game that he wants to play, it's not exactly going to work out. He has to sort of like dictate the pacing of the match from the mid-range to avoid Sheik pacing the what am I trying to say?
No.
To avoid Sheik dictating the pace of the match from her own, but that's not going to matter this time, is it, Gabe?
No, not at all. And even with, you know, like the great momentum buildup from Vixen, she's able to make it count with that stock and evening things back out once again. But, you know, you just have to know when to get in. Against Mario, it's never guaranteed, just like it is against Sheik as well. You can't overcommit. So we're seeing a lot of, you know, slower gameplay, but finding her options right there is Vixen finally getting a bit of damage as well to go along with it and keeping Delta at the corner. Going for the needle setup as well. I would love to see that set up into something, but just went a bit okay under.
It beckoned me. I needed it. My people needed me. Yeah, that definitely looked like it was probably a misinput on Vixen, but it worked out in her favor for sure. And now we got ourselves a dead even game coming out. I love the patience and the dash back coming out with the dash attack that time around. Did not just rush in with a willy-nilly option that Mario wanted. And look at all the rewards she got off of it. Almost the stock, but a beautiful cape stall on the part of Delta is going to stop him from dying from that angle. He learned that from Karama. The down tilt back air. I never used to do that. I always dash attack by ledge. He's learning.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And one thing I love about Delta's Mario is that it's literally just a mixture of Dark Wizzy and Karama, because when it's time to get aggro, trust me, he is going to go full-on force like you see Karama usually do against his opponents. But when it's time to play the passive game, you know, he finds those openings. He's not going to really push his meta in, just like we see right there. That will be the stock. That will be a 3-0, and that will be Delta moving on to the next